Morning, everybody. It was another step on our ladder to success. It really was a very short campaign. We actually had our candidate a week before the other parties, which gave us a tiny bit of a head start. Oh, I've gone too far, sorry. Right, toughest fight to date. There was no scandal. It was a very nice MP who unfortunately died. There was no big media story. This was the first time we really fought on the same level as everybody else. So with us achieving 14.5 percentage points up from 2010 in 3 weeks was actually phenomenal. It was a really dirty campaign. I mean, I cannot put some of the slides up for the graffiti that was put across our shutters across the campaign. We had an office. It was a derelict shop, and we made it look beautiful. You couldn't go out the back or have a wee, unfortunately, because it was a bit too dangerous. But we had to use a generator for the electric, but they stole it. How rude was that? And you know how cold and dark it was during February. And the abuse on the doorsteps from females from other parties, the Labour Party. And the police said, how do you know they were from the Labour Party? Because of the jolly great red rosette. I cannot repeat the words to you here today because I would be ashamed of using words like that. We had stink bombs thrown into our office by the BNP. They were throwing megaphones. They were shouting abuse. It was disgraceful. And the level of intimidation, now most of you will remember Annie and Sandy, our Scottish duo who come down from 50 miles above Inverness. Well, they stood their ground. They were not having their patch taken over by the BNP, and they were there with our Correx board. And there was no way they were going to be intimidated, that's for sure. And the police were fantastic, incredibly supportive, and considering the amount of times we did call them, every time they were with us within 20 minutes of the call going out. That was the toughest fight. Every vote was hard fought, really was. This man, John Bickley, Councillor John Bickley, he was adopted as a councillor just as the campaign started. What a fantastic guy to work with, and you'll hear from John in a few moments. But it makes my life so much easier when I've got a candidate who's on message, that wants to deliver, and is prepared to work hard and prepared to knock on every single door. He was fantastic in front of the media. If we'd have had a longer campaign, he annihilated the other parties. On the politics show, it was an embarrassment for the other parties. It really was. So all credit to John. He was tremendous. But I really need your help. I've got to stop going to places, my team, where we've got to say, "Who? What? Never heard of you. Who's UKIP?" That makes it so much harder. I mean, it was real heartland Labour, the biggest council estate, but they are proud to live there. These people are very proud. They are passionate about where they live, but they're also passionate about their country. They are very UKIP. Labour does no longer represent the working class people. We need to campaign all year round, and it's outside of election times is when we win the elections. I actually went back to Manchester on Monday to go back to the shop, and as I was opening the shutters, people were walking up to me going, "Oh, you're back, you're opening the shop again. We really need you here." People genuinely feel like that. The road sweeper, he came running up with his trolley. "Oh, you're back, that's brilliant." I had a gentleman from Romania stop me. We'd got the big purple UKIP minibus, couldn't miss us. And it's got a big sticker on the front saying, "Out of the EU." "I've never heard of UKIP," he said, "but I believe in that." He said, no, listen to this story. In my country, you can earn £200 a month, but the price of petrol is the same as over here. They come here because they can't afford to live in their own country any longer. And he read the What We Stand For and joined the party on Monday. And as I explained to him, we have absolutely nothing against the individuals that live in those countries. It's the principle of open borders that we have an issue with. And people forget that. So I do need your help, but the fight has to continue. I can't stay there forever. Steve has me doing other jobs and he calls me back very quickly. But the fight must continue. They want us there, they need us there. The branches really need to pick up that mantle and keep pushing forward. Now, we did target with the literature. A personal letter went to every household from Nigel Farage before Labour had even selected their candidate. We do an introductory leaflet where we introduce our candidate because they want to know who are they voting for. They want to feel like they've known him all their life. Then we did a Labour millionaire leaflet, which I'll show you in a minute. We also put out a UKIP What We Stand For with a beautiful picture of John on the front. But the amount of lies that they put out about UKIP was a disgrace. An absolute disgrace. So we counteracted that the day before the election. And then we did a final day leaflet as well. And here's Meet the Labour Millionaires. I was fed up with people going, oh, you're just like the Tories, you're full of millionaires. As I was sitting there with scarf, gloves and coat and no heating, thank you. So we said, no, let's introduce them to their millionaires. They were shocked. The Daily Telegraph said to me, well, Labour aren't really attacking you about that leaflet. I said, but how can they? It's the truth. What really challenges us is the postal vote. And you'll hear people say, we lost the campaign on the postal vote. Let me explain. It's not the fact we aren't doing our job properly, because we do target the postal voters particularly well. But when they close nominations at 4 o'clock on the Wednesday, and the first postal ballot drops on the Saturday morning, that's incredibly difficult when you've got 17,000 people to reach, for them to read, take in the literature. Oh, I'm being flashed, I better go a bit faster. Media was against us. They put out a lot of lies, even though they knew they were lying. This isn't a lie, this is the Financial Times showing my lads putting up the board. People put up boards. Hang on. Garden boards. Garden board wall, you just wouldn't believe this. Councillor Reeve and Richard Wright were out on a Sunday morning putting up garden boards. People wanted them. Labour chased them down the street going, you can't put that in there, that house belongs to us. It was a council house. It does not belong to them. The people inside it wanted to vote UKIP. How rude was that? Our team is small but growing, and I have to say, Darryl, are you in the room, Darryl? He's fantastic. My deputy, I couldn't live without him. Please come and see Darryl. And join our flying squad. We've got a fringe event at 12. And a big thank you. These are a leafleting machine from the West Mids. Youngest members, Freya and Elsa, that came to visit us from Wales. Big team meal the night before. 22 people stayed over the night before to help us on final day. The minibus that came 3 weekends from the northeast. Annie and Sandy, bless their hearts, they're every day trooping the streets. She had so many bowls of porridge, I couldn't keep up with her. And then we unwind at the end of the campaign. We always go out for a bit of a laugh. It's important to unwind. And then we've had enough. It's exhausting, it's exciting, but it's a privilege to be there, and I hope to see you all at the next campaign. Now, I'm going to introduce you to John Bickley, the fantastic candidate for Wythenshawe and Sale East.